So, a very good evening, and can see just looking at the screen here, we've got people joining from various places. Hello to you, Bruno, from Italy. Nice to see you, my friend. Suzanne, not in Denmark, in Crete, I think, tonight. Suzanne, is that right? Richard joining from the UK. You've got Connie from America, I know. Nice to see you as well, Joanne. Holly joining us from South Africa. Justin, I see Jill just joining as well from the UK. So in these Life Lifter showcases, we are showcasing and celebrating all things goal mapping, and we are also shining a light on some of the people doing amazing things around the world with goal mapping. And tonight it'd be great to shine a light on both Richard Gilbert, been working as a goal mapping practitioner for many years, and also Suzanne, also helping people with goal mapping. For the new people, we're going to show a short presentation first, just so that everyone's got an idea of what goal mapping is, and then we'll be hearing from our two guest coaches tonight. If you are new to goal mapping and you're just joining, please do write in the chat quickly what it is that you would like to achieve with goal mapping. And I'll do my best to answer any questions tonight and to focus on the great many benefits of goal mapping and the things that you can achieve with it. So let me just change presentations. And I've been told I've got a lot of plants going on behind me. Yes, absolutely. Just need to bring up the other presentation. Let's see if that's done it. Nope. So great pleasure to be with you all. And goal mapping has been helping people around the world for so many years. And for 30 years now, I've been sharing the goal mapping system with people, helping people from all different walks of life, wherever they may be around the world, to teach this amazingly simple yet powerful system for success. From my very first beginnings, the message within goal mapping has stayed consistent. Your thoughts create your reality, both in yourself and also, of course, in your life. Goal mapping has been helping people in so many ways for so many years now. And while life is many things to many people, one thing we can say it's for sure is that a life is a path. And my life path had an unusual start to it. I was born into a traveling funfair family, and on both sides of my family related to circus people. So I can trace my ancestry back for generations. And the two oldest UK circus families are both related to me on my mother's side. Smart Circus, and you can see some of my relatives here on the screen. I don't know if it's spotlighted, just making sure. And this was the life I was born into. This is my father's traveling funfair. Didn't go to school very much, traveled around a great deal with the fun fairs. And then at around about 18 is when my family settled where I still live, which is on the Isle of Wight. This is now King Charles, when he was a young boy, riding on my cousins' bumper cars on their amusements. And all of my family still travel. This is my brother-in-law and my cousin and my nephew and their children. And they operate funfair equipment from place to place. I learned to drive in this truck here, this Scammell. That was my learning vehicle when I was about 16, driving that around fields before I was even allowed to drive a car. Eventually, my father took all of his funfair equipment to the south side of the Isle of Wight, and he opened up for the amusement business here. I was an early entrepreneur. This was my 13th birthday present, this rocket-shaped bubblegum machine. And then the next year I bought a pinball, and my big business breakthrough at about 15 years old is I was one of the first people in England to have a Space Invaders. But then at 18, I took the family business in a new direction. I became the youngest person in England to be given a license to open up a dance club. And I did that for 13 years, quite an unusual place, filled it full of old funfair junk. It was in the early 80s when I opened the crest of the New Romantics wave, face paint and frilly shirt. So this is me in my frilly shirt as a New Romantic, like Adamant, and got my face paint on. And the nightclub I opened became very successful. I DJ'd for 10 years. This is my DJ box. It's in a blue crystal being held up by a big gorilla's hand. And we were in lots of music magazines, lots of pop stars and celebrities come to the place and made a lot of money, had a lot of fun. I stayed in that business for 13 years, was at the height of success. Picture here of me and my father. But then in the late 1980s, early 90s, tourism ended, mass tourism ended here on the Isle of Wight. All of my customers started going to Ibiza for the rave scene, or Ballarat in Greece, or other places around the Mediterranean. And it became a very sad time where a lot of the old businesses here on the Isle of Wight all closed down. My family's business was one of them. And at age 29, I found myself in £1 million of debt. I was worth more than £1 million at age 25, lived in a big 3-story house, drove a fast red Italian sports car. But then within a few years, it was the opposite. Everything was repossessed. I ended up in debt. My home was repossessed. Possessions were repossessed. My marriage came to an end. I had no qualifications. I had no formal work experience. And at age 29, I still couldn't read or write properly. And life was looking very dark. And I'll be very honest, I was extremely scared. But it's often darkest just before the light shines. It's darkest just before the dawn. And the light that shone for me, the good fortune that came at this dark time, was that I found an amazing, inspiring life coach, a pioneering life coach, one of the first life coaches in the UK, a guy called Mike Rosewarne. And he taught me about the science of positive thinking and how you can use your mind to make and shape your world, to shape your reality. And I become fascinated in the science of positive thinking and how to set goals in the most powerful way. And within a relatively short time, I taught myself to read and write, and I'd completely changed my life. First joining a sales organization, but then within a year or so, becoming a trainer of personal development, and very quickly creating the goal mapping system. Here on the screen is one of my earliest goal maps from 1996, hand drawn on paper. And nowadays we use the online system, digital goal mapping. But here, this hand drawn map, and the essence is me sharing goal mapping around the world: France, Holland, Denmark, Germany. All of those countries now have people teaching goal mapping. There are actually more than 30 countries now around the world where there are people certified, and very quickly goal mapping become popular. In England and other countries here, one of the early flyers, me working with Laura Berggang Forkman, one of the pioneering coaches, and finding my way into personal development magazines here, a feature with Brian Tracy, and various information. The goal mapping books came quite quickly. First goal mapping, Sand the Magic Genie, then life mapping, but goal mapping into many different languages here in Italian, also the self mapping book, and goal mapping in German. And in recent years, new editions of both goal mapping and self mapping, bringing them into a second edition. There's been lots of good publicity around the world on goal mapping, various magazines, different languages. This article from CNN about using goal mapping to advance your career. There's been a lot of awards as well for goal mapping. Again, different countries. Here, National Training Awards in the UK. Here in Nigeria, Leadership Award, and a lot of presentations. Throughout all of it, the main goal for me has been to help lift 7 million lives. To this day, I am eternally grateful that I met someone that taught me the simple science of positive thinking and goal setting. It helped me to change my life. Sadly, the guy that became my coach died quite young, and I decided to honor his help with me by helping as many others as I could. And writing the books and making presentations has reached a lot of people, but it's actually been certifying other coaches and trainers that has really helped goal mapping spread around the world. And that is the point of these presentations that we make each month, where we shine a light on other people helping to make a difference with goal mapping. As some people are working with goal mapping in the corporate world, some people running public workshops, and some people running education workshops. Of course, many people are doing all of these. There are now 1,556 certified people around the world, and we have new people joining all the time. The youngest just 15, the oldest in her 80s, more than 30 countries now represented. Fantastic to have Holly joining us from South Africa tonight, the first person joining from South Africa. And we have other people here tonight, as you can see. Some people choosing to work as a coach, some as a trainer, some as a therapist. What unites all of the different people, wherever they choose to work, or the people they want to help, is that they are brought together by this desire to make a difference in the world. Three key principles: to inform, to share information, to inspire, and to empower. And that is our aim tonight within the presentation, to share some information so you can go away and use goal mapping. Of course, we have a free level of goal mapping that I'll be showing you, where you can go and create your own goal map and watch video, to inspire by hearing what other people are doing with goal mapping around the world, and to empower by using the tools and techniques. People from business, large and small, benefited from goal mapping at the top end. Clients such as Microsoft have been sharing goal mapping with more than 70,000 of their employees around the world. British Telecom, 50,000 employees, Siemens, Disney, Coca-Cola. Some of our licensed trainers choosing to focus specifically on business, such as Jill here and Katrina, and I saw Jill joining earlier. Also here, Marina, who heads up training company in Greece called Avocado. Other people exercising their passion to teach goal mapping within education. And Emily from Italy has done some amazing work with students and been in the media many times, as also has Cephas from Ghana, who's worked with so many students and empowering them to aim for a brighter future and to excel within their grades. We have sports people using goal mapping. This is Katalin Konya, 3 times world champion kickboxer. Katalin said that creating a goal map was like a supercharged visualization that gave her the edge within the championships and helped her to win her titles. She'd become so impressed with the system that she is now one of the certified coaches and specializes in helping young women find their power and their career path, as well as using goal mapping in her sports training. In the online system, you have a wealth of resources to choose from. There is video. You can inform yourself from the goal mapping workshop. Click on any of the dots here in the life path. The video will open up. I'm going to cover this piece of video for us live in just a little while, the winds of change, and also the next video, which is the power of positive thinking. Of course, you can also go create your map. And the great thing about digital goal mapping is that you can edit your map and you can update it with new insights, whether you're working with a coach or just working on your own. Click of a button at any time, update your map, put in a new insight. You can also create 2 of the other mapping systems, life mapping, which is focused on developing yourself as a leader, and also action mapping, which is focused on helping you to change habit patterns. And we have lots of people in wellness and diet that are using goal mapping, but also life mapping and action mapping to help themselves change deeply ingrained beliefs and attitudes and behavior so they can be the person they choose to be and to achieve their goals. And we run a number of different presentations each month. Here in the Life Lifter Showcase, we are celebrating the work being done by goal mapping coaches. But if you would like to be coached into creating your own goal map, then do join us on one of our monthly Life Path Masterclasses, because each month we are guiding people through creating goal maps for the important areas of their life, starting with a map for living their best life, but then a map for authentic happiness, feeling fantastic, raising self-esteem, increasing well-being, achieving financial freedom, harmonious relationships, and living with purpose. 7 goal maps in a 7-month cycle, 1 each month. Once you create your goal map, then you work with it for 30 days. You can do it for absolutely free using the online system or downloading the paper templates. Why 30 days? Well, looking at your map just for a short time, once each day, helps to form the brain cell connections that sends a command to your subconscious mind, and through law of attraction to universal consciousness, helps to move you towards your goal and attract your goal towards you. After 30 days, you move on and create the next map. By creating the maps online, you're able to update the maps each month as new insights come, gradually bringing together the brain cell connections to create an enhanced neural net. So the brain cell connections that helps you to be your best, do your best, and to achieve your best results. In the resource center, we have both the paper templates as well as online resources, free video, free audio. You can take a life balance check. So you can see which of your life areas is lowest. And by doing the life balance check, you can then focus on that area, work to improve it. And as you improve the low area and bring yourself into balance, you go through a synergy of self. All of these aspects can be recorded into the online journal. Again, you can take the life balance check, use the journal, create your goal map for absolutely free. And then here within the life coach profile, We have all the different coaches from around the world. You can see here Suzanne, who's going to be our first guest coach this evening. And if you're there, Suzanne, I can see if you'd like to unmute your microphone.
Yes.
See if Vicky can spotlight us both together. And so great to join with you tonight, Suzanne. Are you in Crete? Did I have that right? You're not in Denmark?
Yes, that's right. And I'm in a room called Brian's room. What a coincidence. So it's standing on the door because there was
Did you choose it on purpose, or is it just
No, I
synchronicity?
didn't. But I know the man who was Brian. He's not alive anymore, but he was here many years in this special hotel, and he was so passionate about this place. So Brian's room, and here I am with a very good energy. And it's really amazing that you asked me actually for this month, because you can see my backdrop. It's
take your passion and make it happen.
Yeah, and when you show my map, you will understand why.
Well, I think I can bring up your map now,
Yes.
and I've got it here next to your profile. And see, it's also flicked through there your action map and self map. Tell us a little bit about your work, Suzanne, what you're doing with goal mapping.
I would like to say that in the beginning, in 2018, I made this map with you, and my life was very gray on the inside. I was lost, and I really needed a map to navigate after. And the date when I wanted this to actually happen is in August 2023.
And I see the date is August 2023, yeah.
Yeah, and guess where I am at that date?
Achieving your goal?
I am still in Crete, because this year I really want to dive deep into being an online coach. So I had a vacation from my job for 3 months. So I'm going to stay in Crete for so long to really dive in deep, because it's been a long journey, 5 years, and I've used the online coaching system to really dive deep into every area of my life. Not only 30 days per year, but 30 days every year. So I have really been disciplined about using this system. And it's the same way that I coach people, also doing the life balance and the power questions and everything. And I take them through this goal mapping area. And it's so easy to do online, but I felt, because I was coaching people to take their passion and actually make it happen. And sometimes when they had a dream and they, then they wanted to go to Italy and they wanted to make a new career. And I was like, yeah, that's great. And that's great. But I was sitting with a little feeling that it's great, but I don't really do it myself. And then I had this very strong feeling about going to Crete for a longer time. And when you asked me to share tonight, I realized that this goal map has really been working in my mind without, I'm not looking at this map every day, but it's so strong, and I made it with you. So I will always also say that you can make your map yourself, but you really go deep if you have a coach.
And the start date of the map is 2016, is that right? Or
18.
2018,
Yeah, so it was kind of a 5 years long goal, and I was thinking, no way I can manage this, because every area of my life, I think it was in zero, all of them. I was totally burned out. I was divorced, and I lost my job because I had a depression and anxiety, and yeah, everything was very difficult for me.
And I know that you've created a lot of maps, and I've watched you grow over the years. And of course, you started with the coach certification, but then did the facilitator and then practitioner as well. And now also one of the coach trainers helping the new people to learn goal mapping. and when they want to take the certification. Who is
And
your favorite people to help with goal mapping? Who are the people you love to work with, Suzanne?
I love to work with people who cares for other people, like social workers like myself, or nurses, or people in the healthcare, because they have a very big heart for helping other people. But what I see is that they often forget themselves, exactly as I did myself.
Yeah,
So it's so easy to burn out. And what I realize is that many people have a difficulty to make self-care a habit. So on my journey, I have used the goal mapping system to make a self-care program called the Lighthouse Self-Care, where you when you have used this map for 30 days, I teach people to actually do it every day, a little step every day in a self-caring way. And for me, it's really important, because if you imagine a lighthouse, you need to take care of your own battery, because otherwise there are no light in the top. So
yeah,
that's why I have a step-for-step program to keep the light. And if I don't do it every day, I really feel that yeah, it's easy for me to burn out, because I'm so trained to be a lifeboat more than a lighthouse. And in the beginning, you were my lighthouse, and I was really, you were my hero, and you still are. But I really needed to find my own light.
yeah,
So
sure.
yeah, so it's been so amazing, and I think my niche is really, a lot of people, when they talk about their passion, they often put it away, because no, I can't do this, because yeah, they have a lot of limiting beliefs and things like that. And every time I hear something like that, and I see the fire in people's eyes, it's like, yes, you can. If you think you can, you can. I know the system. You can use the system. Let's try. And I now know that I have been, goal mapping in the beginning was with everyone around me. It was people who was living next door, or it was people in the shops. I was finding the people. But now I'm more like attracting the people. Just, they ask me, how can you be positive within? How can you always be happy? And how can you just travel? And it's because I have a map. And if I hadn't had this map, I would get lost, because I was lost. But now I found my way, and it's so nice to go slow and live a simple life. Actually, I have been moving from a big flat to a small flat, and I have been cleaning up all my stuff and really make a conscious cleanup. So when I saw your presentation, I was laughing in myself, because I think I'm a bit of a gypsy. Now I would like a van. I have my next 5 years dream is to have this little van, camper van, and drive around, do dream and drive instead of walk and talk, and yeah, just go around
Backlight.
and lifting lives with online goal mapping. So it's amazing, this system.
I have your life map here on the screen as well, and your action map also.
Yeah,
And
and
what do you think for you, Suzanne, is the most important goal that you've achieved?
it's standing tall and really being the light, instead of trying to doing the light, or what you can say, but being this you talk a lot about positive thinking, but the positive feelings, that's really amazing, because that's been a very difficult thing for me to not have this negative emotions. So the feeling of coming home and really living my purpose and being a lighthouse, I have really thought about that I should live lives and everything like this, but now I know that being in yourself and shining out from inside, I think that's my purpose, to be a lighthouse. connecting with other people also wanted to shine their light.
And I know that you're very taken with our mastery program, Warrior Within.
Yes,
one of the TP elders.
Yeah.
And of course, Warrior Within and life mapping is all about enhancing the being, and you feel that that's come to the core of your being, helped you to be that light and to help others.
Yes, it's really like the mindset before was from the outside in, now it's from the inside out. And because I've been working so much with myself being the lighthouse, so now I'm also taking the next step to actually shine my light and help others to find their passion and make it happen.
And is there a particular example or memory from the past of someone that you've helped with goal mapping that's particularly pleasing for you that you want to share with us?
I have an example of a lady who also took the whole journey, and the first one was of course her whole life, and she was like, oh, I would like to move to Italy 10 years from now, but oh, I can't. Yes, let's make a map on that. And, you know, we made this 10 years map. And then we came down to her first map, and it was like, I would like to lose some weight, and I would like a bike, you know, on electricity, but it's so expensive. And I asked her, have you made your research? Do you know how expensive the bike is? Because if you had this bike, you know, you could also lose your weight. And oh yeah, now you're thinking. And then after 2 weeks, she came back and she asked me to come outside, and she was showing me this bike. And she said, actually, because I put this bike on my my map, I realized that I could go more cheap than using the bus and everything if I buy this bike over some couple of months. So she was so happy with this bike. But actually, this week I talked to her. She has now sold her house and moved to a smaller house, and she has found her place in Italy, and she's crazy about this this goal mapping as well. And yeah, it's really amazing what it can do, but it's also sometimes on a long term. So you can also get a little impatient, or what I can say.
Yeah.
But that's what I realized today. It's you don't have to, because when you have made the map, even though it's 5 years or 30 days, it will happen.
Yeah.
And I also actually I have another example for my own. You really have to take care what you write, because one day I was writing, I wanted a job, you know, very close where I live. Just I could walk over there. And after 2 weeks, I had a job in the bar with you know, smoke and high music, and oh, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I wasn't very you know,
it wasn't specific in the
no, I
words.
wasn't specific. So I have really learned to only ask what I really want. Yeah.
And what are your goals for the future? What's your plan? Obviously, to be in Crete and to do online coaching.
Yes, but also I also, before I left, I was so close to quit my job. I told them that if I had to stay in this job, they had to give me the opportunity to work with goal mapping to help my colleagues not to burn out. And I told them that I would use a camper van, because we have one where I work. So my plans when I come back in September is to make a little pilot project for 3 months to show them how this system really kicks ass. So I have many plans with goal mapping.
Well done, Suzanne. And if anyone here tonight wants to contact you, is it okay that they reach you through the coach profile? You've got your contact details already programmed in?
Yes, they are more than welcome. And I am I'm online from now and the rest of my life.
And super passionated as well.
I am so passionate because it's really amazing what this can do. Yeah, I'm just so excited about it. It's amazing.
Thank you for making the time to speak with us tonight, Suzanne.
Thank you
I'm
for
sure it's
inviting
going to
me.
go really, really well in Crete. It's one of my favourite places, and I envy you being there for the next 3 months. But it's one of the great benefits of being able to work online and just reach out to people wherever they are.
And I
coaching
must say,
exactly.
sometimes when you really are in this, I call it lighthouse zone, when you are in yourself. Today it's just a short little story, but today I was in a little beach bar, and there was a man. He was saying, "Hello, where are you from?" "I'm from Denmark." "Oh, okay, let's speak Danish." He has moved down here to live from now, and and he
Yeah.
was like, "What are you doing?" And I told him I'm working with this goal mapping as a coach, and he was like, "I know a place, and I'm also thinking about making events in Crete. Do you want to come and see it?" And I was like, "Yes, of course I will." So many things happening. It's a
Law of
good time.
attraction.
Yes.
Well done. And thank you again for joining tonight,
Yeah.
Suzanne.
Thank you.
Look forward to being with you again soon. Take care.
You too.
And so back into the presentation, goal mapping is both a 7-step process of how to create your goals in a powerful way, as well as a mindset workshop. And these two things together create great power. This first section of content from the workshop, I believe, is particularly relevant for the times in which we live. We are in such a fast changing world. Never before in recorded history has the world changed as fast as it is today. And what's important to remember when you're in a fast changing world is that change always creates opportunity. And the more change there is, the more opportunity that is created. The only way we can have, any of us, something new, something more, something different, is if there is change. The challenge is, if you look around the world, you'll find that the vast majority of people are in fear of uncertain change. And when we go into fear of change, the change still happens, but the fear blinds us to the opportunity. When we're in fear, all we see is more of our fear. Or sometimes we can see that there's an opportunity, but we're too afraid to try something new, to step forward and take the opportunity. Sometimes the changes of life are small. They're like ripples on the ocean. And behind me, I live right next door to the sea. And so I'm quite mesmerized by the sea. It's always changing. Today, the sea's very flat outside, and the ripples are just small. Other times, the waves are absolutely huge. And all of it's outside of our control. And we can't choose which direction the changes of life come from, or whether they're big changes or small changes. Many years ago, my coach said to me, "Brian, change is like the wind that blows. You cannot control it, nor stop it or direct it. But what you can do is you can adjust the set of your sails." And now I live here, down at the south of England, small island called the Isle of Wight. And every year here, there's quite a famous Around the Isle of Wight yacht race. 1,500 yachts leave Cowes on the north side of the Isle of Wight. They sail all around the island, past my home, which is out on the south side on the point there at Ventnor. And as the yachts come past my home, I took this picture a few years ago from my balcony. The wind often changes direction, and it means that the yachts have got to sail into the wind, which is really not what they want. But if the captain has a skill if the crew are working together, regardless of which the direction the wind is blowing, the crew can adjust the condition of the sailing boat. They can capture the wind, the force of good. They can use that to power them on their journey. This is how life is for each of us. We're each of us on a journey through life. And as we move along our journey in life, the wind will change direction many times. And we cannot control the force or the direction of the wind, but we can choose the set of the sail. What does it require? It requires that each of us are our own captain. And to be a good captain, we need belief in ourselves, we need a positive attitude, and we need power in our actions. Goal mapping, life mapping, action mapping help us to be our own captain. And what's essential is that we know where we want to go. Having a goal is like having a beacon of light that helps us move towards our chosen desires. The more change there is, the more opportunity there is, but we need to stay focused on where we want to go with all of the many changes in life. Having a goal map helps us to keep that focus. A goal mapping is unique because of this balanced combination of words and pictures. And there are many people using dream boards, but often it is only activating half of their brain because many dream board systems are just using pictures and there is no words. Other people are writing their goals using words, but they're not written as affirmations and they don't have pictures. And again, it means that they're only really working with half of their brain. Goal mapping achieves the amazing power and has reached more than 5 million people around the world because it works. And the reason goal mapping works is this combination of words for the left brain, the logical mind, and pictures to stimulate the right brain, the creative mind. In the very center of the map, we've got a main goal, and then on either side, we've got more goals. These side goals can be from all different areas of our life, or they can all be focused on the one area of our life, such as a goal map for health and well-being, or a goal map for sport. At the top of the map are the motivating reasons why you want to achieve the goal. Always this balanced combination of words to stimulate the left brain, pictures for the right brain, affirmation with the words, visualization with the pictures. And then when? We need a start date and an achievement date. And then how? What's the plan? What are the simple steps you can take that move you along your timeline towards the achievement of your goal? And then who? Whose help would you like in taking the actions to move towards the goal? Sometimes the who will be you. Sometimes the who is family, friends, teachers, co-workers. 7 simple steps, starting with what you want. This is one of your maps on the screen here, Bruno, from the tourist department. What do you want? Right brain. And then what's the priority? You may want many things, but we need a central focus. And left brain is good at prioritizing. So first step, right brain, dream big. Second step, work out the priority. Put down the main goal. Step 3, what does it look like? Map it out in words and pictures. Why do you want it? When? How? Who's going to help? 7 simple steps that represent the critical aspects of achievement, and they iterate between brain function as you create your goals in both words and pictures. The online system also means that we can map out into greater detail by creating a task list, as showing here on the screen, using the online system. It's my great pleasure to invite our second coach of this evening, Richard Gilbert. And Richard, would you like to unmute your microphone and just share with us a little about yourself and your work over the years with goal mapping? I think you've been certified goal mapping practitioner since 2010, somewhere.
A little bit earlier than that, actually.
Earlier than that.
Yeah, 2006 or 7.
Okay.
And I was just thinking in my mind, I was just trying to remember which one it was. It's very fitting that you. I'm sorry, I'm only in Potton. I'm not in Crete. I did go and pick my son up from the airport on Friday, and he and his partner had been to Crete. So
that
I don't
doesn't
know if that
count, Richard.
No, I didn't think it did. Although I have been mentally stoning him to death for his suntan ever since. It was very fitting that you did the Winds of Change just prior to me coming on, because that was the first presentation that I saw. I came across goal mapping at a very bad time for me. I'd bought an Anglo-American IT company, which had been running quite well for a couple of years. And then my business partner embezzled an enormous amount of my money. The company went bankrupt, and I came back in £250,000 worth of debt, to say to my wife, I don't quite know what I'm going to do. And we sat down and we decided together what was I good at. And apparently it's talking and sales. And I, at the time, I was a member of the Institute of Sales and Marketing Management. And as it happened, I was just flicking through a magazine, and there was this seminar in a hotel in Gloucester, being run by a guy called Brian Main. And actually, the publicity shot that you actually showed right at the beginning is the
was one of those.
It was that one. And I read your bio, and it was the fact that you'd come back from where I was. So I managed to eke out enough money to fill the car with petrol. I drove down to the seminar. It was a half-hour keynote, and just listening to those words again, I filled up a bit, to be honest, because it was exactly how I felt. I was fearful of change. I didn't feel I was in control of my own destiny. I was desperately trying to find a way to make some money to keep the house, keep us all together. And I came to speak to you at the end of the presentation. And I was looking initially at goal mapping as perhaps something that I could sell, something I could stand up and do. And I asked you whether you were doing franchises or were you using other coaches and what have you. And you said, why don't you come on a weekend? We're doing a weekend goal map in London, a goal mapping session in London. Why don't you come along? And I did. And it's probably the best thing I ever did. I fell in love with it. It made perfect sense to me. My first ever map was that I wanted to be financially secure. And I gave myself 5 years to do it. And within that time, I registered myself as a limited company. I'd set up my own business, and I achieved everything in that goal ahead of the end date. But I think the most important thing for me has been that it's something I've had a tremendous amount of fun with, and it's something that's really saved me and worked for me. And I remember, actually, I was thinking about it while I was sort of preparing for this, that the last map we did, before I did the practitioner course, but the last map we did on the 2-day session was the question, the main goal was, what are you going to do with goal mapping? And I remember at the time I was thinking, well, I'm going to do it to earn money, and I'm going to train people, and it's something I'm going to use to provide for my family. And I remember my pen or my crayon going towards the main goal, and I was going to draw some sort of image of making money, sales figures going up and all that kind of stuff. And my arm started to draw a hand, and then another hand, and the hands were holding a gift. a box with a red ribbon around it, reaching out to someone on the other side, and I drew a pair of empty hands receiving the gift. And that has been, ever since, that's been how I've seen goal mapping. It is a gift, and it's something.
The gift that keeps on giving.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Absolutely,
Lifelong.
Yeah, lifelong. And I've been very lucky to train big companies, small companies, one-to-ones. I've done a little bit of coaching one-to-one, but most of the stuff had been in the corporate world.
Workshops. I did a lot of corporate workshops with goal mapping.
Yeah, but it's always been fun. And I've been doing other things as well, but I've not been very well for the last 18 months, as you know, although I'm much better now and I'm on the road to recovery.
Health goal map?
Sorry?
Health goal map?
Yes, done a health goal map. And that has helped because it sort of prioritized, you know, it's okay to not feel well and these are the things you need to do. So that's been very good. I think I've got a big birthday coming up on Tuesday, a week tomorrow. I'm 60, and that's sort of sharpened the focus that, you know, the chances are I've got less to go than I've already had. And the map I've done, the most recent map I've done is Now We Are 60, or now I Am 60. And it's the map I can see is likely to be the one that drives me from now, with what time I have left to do the things that I want to do now. And you and I had a long conversation at the beginning of the year that I realized that goal mapping is the main focus for me now going forward, and to really start the one-to-one coaching and helping other people because of the ability to, Suzanne, is you can do it from anywhere in the world. And again, that's something that's important to me, to have the quality of life and have fun doing the things that I love to do.
Yeah, because I know you spend a lot of time away from home and travel with the corporate work and running workshops, etc. So you can see how now being able to work using the online platforms particularly appealing. And Richard, is there a goal for you that stands out as really meaningful that you've achieved for yourself over the years? What's the thing you've been most pleased to achieve?
It's a number of things, but I think that everything that's happened, it's the fact that I know that if I use goal mapping to achieve whatever it is I want to achieve, it will happen. And that can sometimes be a little bit not scary, not daunting. There can be an idea that, you know, I realize that if I release this goal map and if I create this goal map, it's going to happen. And am I ready for all the stuff that I need to do to get it all done? Because
careful what you wish for.
Careful what you wish for, exactly. So again, it's the specific words, and I think you're right that. I mean, when I first started teaching goal mapping in training sessions, it was all about drawing. And one of the things I used to say, which I think, it was that, you know, don't worry if you don't have an ability to draw. In fact, it's an advantage that you don't have an ability to draw because you have to really concentrate a bit more than someone who's a budding Leonardo da Vinci. But actually, the online system, I'm completely sold on it now. The fact that you can tweak it and change it and change the words but keep the core of the map, which is the map you've got online now. That's my Now We Are 60 map. I know that I need to change some of the pictures. I've had a slight challenge over the last 2 or 3 weeks in that I was diagnosed with cataracts about this time last year, and they'd been fine up until about 3 weeks ago, and now I can't see a damn thing. So I am squinting at my map and thinking, yes, I do recognize it, but I know that there are more powerful pictures that I can use, which is great because again, I'm going to be using that to underline the map. But there are certain things that I know are going to happen quite quickly, but I can tweak the picture because there is a next stage. I think one of the pictures I've got there is to say, I start exercising. And I know the wording is slightly wrong, but I actually need to kickstart myself into exercising. And then once I've done that, which will be like after day one that I go to the gym or go for a walk or whatever it is, I can change that to say I am healthy or I am fit. And I can, the ability to keep the main map and just change that little thing is very powerful and useful.
And I know that you've got an operation arranged for your eyes, and your vision will be good after that.
Yeah, that's correct. It's actually it's a week on Friday. They did. I was given the option of doing it on my birthday, but I thought no, I'll wait the extra couple of days. So yeah, June the 2nd. If anyone wants to send me the energy, I'm not particularly looking forward to it. I'm told that I won't feel a thing, although you can see everything going on, but you won't realise it's you that's being done. But yes, so hopefully I'll have. Well, they do one eye and then they do the other, but I will have by the end of the summer. I'll have 20/20 vision, hopefully. Which means I can go and buy all the sunglasses that I always wanted to buy, but always had to have prescription glasses, so I can have a pair of Ray-Bans at last.
Now, you've made a lot of presentations for goal mapping over the years, and you've helped a lot of people. Is there an example that stands out for you that you've been most pleased with helping someone achieve something?
Yeah, there's a couple. The main one is I was very lucky in that I got to do a series of workshops for then Orange, who are now EE, and I did their whole training centre up in Newcastle. And I know you did the presentation of the senior leadership team, and then I was able to do the others. It was very tough for me, I have to say, and I was glad that you were able to mentor me before we started, because it was, I can't remember whether it was 3 weeks or 4 weeks of workshops, and it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for either 3 or 4 weeks.
Two workshops a day.
2 workshops a day. And I remember you saying, by the end of it, you really will get this. So, which I did. And it was incredibly, it was a tremendous amount of fun, because I was actually, the training room was actually in the middle of this huge floor of the sales teams, and there were 8 or 9 or 10 sales teams, and as the weeks went by, seeing all these goal maps popping up on everyone's workstations, and I could see from the training room, oh, I've done that section, or I've done that section. They're coming soon, and it was great to do that. But I was about, I think it was the start of the second week, and I was just setting up for on the Tuesday morning. This girl came up and gave me a great big kiss. And a hug, which was very nice. It was
always a good start to a workshop.
Always great start to a presentation. And she said to me, "You don't remember me?" And I used an old trick that I was taught by someone else about meeting and greeting and small talk. And the answer I gave, which is, well, it's probably not. Because then they turn around and say, "Oh, I'm Bob from Siemens." "Oh, yes, I remember," or whatever. And she said, I said, "I'm sorry, I don't." And she said, I was in your very first presentation last week." And she said, "I absolutely loved it." And she said, "Over the weekend, I did the workshop for my brother. And he's a heroin addict. And he went into rehab this morning." And then she started to cry, and I filled up, and she hugged me and gave me another kiss, and she said, "And that's from my mum." And I don't care what anyone else, whatever gift I get. That was just so wonderful to know that I had helped in some small way. Maybe I saved a life. Maybe I can actually say, yes, I stopped someone from having a terrible end to their lives, I hope. So that was wonderful.
The amazing thing is, of course, Richard, that happened in a corporate workshop. Yes. Where you wouldn't expect the training in a corporate workshop to reach out like that. But it's one of the amazing things, I think, about goal mapping, and why so many of the people that have attended goal mapping workshops in big businesses have become long-term raving fans
Yes.
because they're able to use it in other areas of their life, and it takes on a different depth of meaning than just getting a corporate training program that helps them in their career only. I know Microsoft, for instance, bought thousands of the little children's goal mapping books and were giving those to their employees to hand out to their family. And British Telecom did something similar. Lifts my heart every time that I see corporates making it not just a training, but a gift for people that they can spread outside of their corporate work.
Yeah, well, I had a flip side to that one as well, in that the very first workshop I ever did was a public workshop advertised and and I actually asked some of my old customers. Initially, my first incarnation, I was a print rep, and I was very good friends with the production director at Simon & Schuster, big American, Anglo-American publishing company.
I know
and
them.
she came along to the very first workshop. She'd been sort of, she wasn't interacting with everybody else, and it was one of those things where you know that at the end of the session she's going to want to see you. And this was the first time I'd ever delivered it, and after everyone else had gone, I said, "Did you enjoy that?" And she said, "I did, but Richard, I haven't got any goals." And I thought, well, no, that's a first for me. And I said, well, let me sit down. Maybe it's the way I've delivered it. And, and we sort of started talking, and she said, well, this sounds really silly, but she said, the only goal I've really got is I want to be a great mum. And I looked at her and I said to her, don't you think that's the best goal you could possibly wish for? And the penny dropped. It was like the scales had fallen from her eyes. And it was obviously the way I probably initially delivered the very first workshop I delivered. But the following day, she rang me up and she said, I've given the CD to Mike, my husband, and I've told him he's got to listen to it on the way to work and on the way back to work. And he's not allowed out the car when he gets home until he's listened to the whole CD. So, yeah.
And Richard, if people here want to contact you, again, is it in the coach profile, the best way to get hold of you?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And yes, that would be marvellous. Please do. That would be great.
Thank you for joining tonight, Richard. Going to wish you a happy birthday in advance. Be one of the first.
Thank you.
Coming up, 60th. And I know everything will go well with that operation on the cataracts, and you'll be able to see your map in 20/20 vision.
Yes, it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Lots of love to you, Richard.
Good and to see you. Good to see you, my friend.
Stay well. So let us continue with the presentation, and this next section of content has become so meaningful for so many people. It's a thing that helped me to change my life, to overcome my learning problems with dyslexia. And I know that along with the actual goal mapping technique, understanding the simple science of positive thinking has been a real aha moment for so many people in the goal mapping workshops. In the simplest of terms, each of us have billions of brain cells. It's estimated we are born with 100 billion brain cells, not a million, 100 billion brain cells. And each one of your 100 billion brain cells, or neurons, represented here on the screen by the little black dot, grows these arms and branches, which are called dendrites. And we have a lot of them. There can be as many as 20,000 dendrite arms to each brain cell, and all of the different arms and branches are separated by a small gap called the synaptic gap. Now, there's obviously a lot of scientific detail we could go into, but it's important to stay focused on the essence. And the essence is simply this: if you choose to think positively. And I'm emphasizing the words here because each word is important. If you choose, it's a choice. And maybe you start your day in a good way, but something unexpected happens and it sends you a bit negative and you lose your temper maybe, or you get upset, within a few moments it's a choice. And if you choose to hold a positive thought about yourself as a person, about your life generally, or about a specific situation that you face, if you choose a positive thought, the positive thought starts in the middle of the brain cell as an impulse. And that impulse travels out along the arms and branches, and it stimulates a neuroreceptor to release a chemical into your brain called serotonin. Serotonin's the happy chemical. It's the same chemical that's released into your brain and body if you take an antidepressant drug like Prozac. When you learn to train your brain, you naturally release the serotonin. And when you think positively about yourself, the serotonin release not only gives you the feeling of happiness, and you can go study a million different scientific reports on the internet that will tell you this, or you can know it in your own experience by just taking a moment, close your eyes, focus on some happy memory, maybe from recently, maybe years ago when you were a child. And as you focus on that happy memory and you call it into your mind, as you picture that positive thought, it will trigger the release of serotonin. The serotonin gives you the feeling of happiness right now. Doesn't happen by accident. Think about something positive, you start to feel happy because of the serotonin release. Now, here's the next important point. Serotonin is a neuroconductor. So when you think positively, not only does it release the serotonin that gives you the feeling of happiness, but it literally forms the brain cell connections. It bridges the synaptic gap. It joins the brain cells together and allows your thought impulse to continue on its journey, so you have those aha moments where you come with a new idea, where you find an answer to your problem. When you have one of those light bulb moments, it's the joining of two or more brain cells. As the brain cells join, they release the serotonin, gives you a good feeling, you have the new idea, you've got some motivation, go, yeah, I can do this. The challenge is, quite quickly, the brain cells break back apart again and the motivation fades. And this is why it's so important to understand the science of positive thinking and goal setting. Because when you set a goal, what you're actually doing is you are reminding yourself. Every time you think about your goal, you reestablish the brain cell connections. Every time you tell yourself you're going to achieve your goal, you reestablish the brain cell connections. And using this combination of affirmation with the words and visualization with the pictures is what creates whole brain activation. Whole brain activation. It's what helps us to achieve self-actualization and manifestation. Manifestation, self-actualization, it means you take a thought and you turn that thought into reality. To achieve that, we need whole brain activation. We get it by using words for the left brain, pictures for the right brain. And every time we think about our goal, tell ourselves we're going to achieve our goal, we strengthen the brain cell connection, because brain cells that fire together, well, gradually they wire together. And as we strengthen that brain cell connection, so our thoughts gradually form into opinions and then beliefs. Any belief you have about yourself, your ability, life, other people, any belief you have, at its most basic level, is simply the established connection between two or more brain cells. This equals this. You can make new brain cell connections and form new beliefs at any age. And you can also break apart old brain cell connections and beliefs that maybe are holding you back. The stronger we build the brain cell connection, the more we form this sense of knowing, as you heard from Richard and Suzanne, about the ability to achieve the goal. The more connections we form, the more we're able to activate the whole of our brain. Being able to work with our right brain, so we've got a good vision of our future, lots of creativity, so we can have ideas and find solutions to challenges, and equally as important, working with our left brain, so we can follow a strategy, make a plan, and be effective in our daily actions. Brain balance is not static like a set of scales. Brain balance, like balancing yourself and balancing your life, is active, it's dynamic. Brain balance is like the infinity sign, with one side of the brain iterating and activating the other side of the brain. And if you look around the world or you look back throughout history, you'll find the most brilliant people who have ever lived, like Leonardo da Vinci, have this brain balance. And the more each of us find brain balance for ourselves, the more effective we are in our daily lives at turning our thoughts into realities. Goal mapping really is a workout for both sides of your brain. The words and pictures helping to activate both logical left brain as well as creative right brain. Not only do our thoughts help us to form more connections within our brain, but when we are choosing positive thoughts about ourselves, the serotonin release builds our self-esteem and in turn empowers our physiology right down to a cellular level. The thoughts you think and the chemical release give you your emotions. They're projected outwards as attitudes and they empower your actions. And this is a two-way flow where your physiology also sends signals to your brain to release feel-good chemicals like serotonin. As Henry Ford said more than 100 years ago, if you think you can, well, you can. But if you fall into the trap of thinking negatively, if you're thinking negatively about yourself, your life, your situation, if you think you can't, well, you won't, you can't. And the reason is that when we think negatively about ourselves, about our life, about our situation, again, the thought starts in the middle of the brain cell and travels out along the arms and branches. This time it's a negative impulse and it stimulates the release of a chemical into our brain and body called cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. It's part of our fight or flight response. If we start to worry about our future, if we imagine that there is danger, our body starts to release cortisol. The cortisol gives us the feelings of sadness and fear. And cortisol is also a neuroinhibitor. So it tells our body and our brain to shut down. When you go into the fear response, your digestion shuts down, your lymph system, which cleans your body, shuts down, your immune system shuts down, and all the energy those systems normally use is sent to your muscles with adrenaline, so you can fight and flight and survive the danger. The more your brain shuts down, the bigger the problem looks. This was a great thing thousands of years ago when the problem was a hungry bear that wanted to eat you for lunch. All you needed to know is there's the bear, and run away, climb a tree. Modern life, we have very different problems. The danger is not a wild animal that wants to eat us. It's a scary bill. It's the fear of our relationship breaking up and we're being on our own, or our children aren't happy, or we're worried about illness. very often the fear is a false fear. False expectations appearing real. But when we picture fear in our mind, often we start to bring it upon ourselves, because our subconscious mind has two main aspects. And we have both a magical genie that can help us achieve our goals, which is our subconscious, but with our conscious mind, we need to be master of the lamp. Our subconscious is always seeking a target. It wants to know what to aim for. And it's our responsibility with our conscious mind to set the target. And the challenge is that our subconscious does not make value judgments. And if we are picturing failure in our mind, our subconscious gets confused and thinks that's actually what we want. And this is why so many top athletes will now have a mind coach. Because even with top athletes, if they start to picture missing the target, if they start to picture themselves spiraling down in their game, their subconscious gives them exactly that result. If we are not setting goals, then our subconscious will automatically select our dominant thought as the target and move us towards it. Unfortunately, so many people have a negative as their dominant thought. It happens automatically when we worry. And with the rising cost of living, with the high food prices, energy prices, so many people are in fear about the future. And if thoughts of fear are dominant in our mind, then our subconscious sends us into self-sabotage, where we start to create a move towards our worries and our fears rather than our dreams and hopes and passions. The key is to use a goal map to help your mind stay focused on what you want. I've been teaching the system now for 28 years, but my maps are still right here in my folder. This is my relationships map, which I did together with Vicky. This is my monthly business map. This is my yearly business map. And then health and well-being map. And one of your maps, Bruno, team map here, still in my folder. And then self map, life map, action map. And I update my maps once a month. And by updating the maps, what I'm actually doing is strengthening the brain cell connections. And many years ago, in one of my workshops, several hundred people in the workshop, a gentleman near to the front of the room put up his hand and explained to me he was a motorcycle riding instructor, and that the big danger for motorcyclists or people riding a pedal bike are all of the holes we have in the English roads. And he explained that when somebody stares at the hole, they automatically move towards the hole. The same thing happens when we're skiing. If we're staring at the tree, we ski to the tree. What they're now teaching the motorcycle riders is to be aware of the hole, but whatever you do, don't stare at the hole. Be aware of the hole, stay focused on where you want to go. Each of us are moving along a path in life, our life path. There will be many holes along our life path, and it's important to be aware of the holes in your path, but don't stare at the hole. Stay focused on where you want to go. How do you maintain that difficult balance of being aware of the negative, but stay focused on the positive and do it every day, do it in a simple way. Well, set your goals. And if you just look at your map just for a few moments each day, and there are simple ways to do it, like having it as a screensaver on your phone, for instance, just to keep it in your consciousness. It helps keep the command to your subconscious to keep moving you towards your goal. And goal mapping does this in such a simple way that more than 1 million children have created goal maps for a brighter future, and yet so powerful that world-leading organizations have endorsed it and use it with their employees. If you are at the premium level of goal mapping, that I really encourage you, go visit the Gold Lounge. And in the VIP lounge, you'll see we have 7 coaching rooms, and in each of these rooms, we have focused information to help you to create your goal maps for the important areas of life, whether that's harmonious relationships, purposeful living, authentic happiness, best life, financial freedom, feeling fantastic, or vibrant well-being. Click into the room and you'll find there the focused instruction to help you to create a goal map for that specific area. You'll also find recordings of our deep dive golden opportunity workshops, 3 hours taking a dive into the content that is the mindset workshop behind goal mapping, as well as recordings of masterclasses, connections with coaches, and using the other tools in the goal mapping program. Whatever type of coach you may be, whether you are somebody just wanting to help others or you're working as a professional coach, I do encourage you, try goal mapping for yourself if you haven't already done so. Please do help us spread the word. We want to reach as many people as possible. And if you're already working as a coach, or maybe you're considering to be a coach in the future, then helping people to achieve their goals is an absolute given. It's a fundamental to success. Even the world's top coaches like Tony Robbins endorsing goal mapping. I've made so many goal mapping presentations for Tony, even for his top clients, the platinum partners. And just want to stress this point, Tony Robbins got his own goal setting system. He didn't need to pay me, fly me halfway around the world in order to teach goal mapping, but he does so based on the strength of the results of goal mapping. And whether as a coach, facilitator, practitioner, if you want to work one-to-one or in small groups, or maybe even speak at large conferences, it's all possible with goal mapping. It's an international license for business education or working with the general public. And we've got a very full resource center of manuals, training videos, all of the various things that you would need. It is a business in a box. It's not just the training. We have the 50-day guide, plus the practitioner workbook, plus the Fast Start coach training. You can work online or with the handouts, paper templates. There's PowerPoint presentations to help you present goal mapping to the general public, education, corporate, wherever you want to work. And we have the support materials for you. And you learn to work with goal mapping both online using our coaching center, where you can set up private coaching pages with your clients, like this one I have with Kristen from Norway, where you can message each other, give feedback on the goal map, look at somebody's map, check it, and help them to strengthen their goals. Or if you want to work as a facilitator and run goal mapping workshops, then you can build your own online workshop like this one here, which I built for one of my clients, Forever Living Products, where we have video and tools, and you are able to build these workshops yourself for your clients. You can upload your own video Doesn't need to be my video. You pull in the tools you want to use from the platform. You can put in your own downloads. You can even have your own point of entry and brand it in your own artwork and colors. It's both a self-development opportunity as well as a business opportunity, because learning goal mapping, you will be coached to create your own goal map, starting with one for your best life, and then happiness, self-esteem, well-being, financial freedom, harmonious relationships, as well as finding and following your purpose and your niche, plus a goal map to help you run your goal mapping business, plus also a life map. So it's a professional certification for both goal mapping and life mapping, plus also the youth coach if you want to work with younger people. All of the resources for all of the different areas where you might want to work, plus marketing and promotional support. And we have an affiliate center where you're able to reach out to your contacts and invite them back in, and you get your own entry in the coach profile, which is open to the internet. So it works like your own web page to be able to draw people back into what it is that you want to do with goal mapping. It's a simple 7-week learning journey, 4 group sessions with me and others, plus 3 one-to-one sessions, you and a coach of your choice, where you not only focus on your learning with goal mapping, but also get to quiz the coach about how they are working with goal mapping and how they've built their business. And once you join the certification program, you can attend as many group coachings as you wish to ongoing. We run them every 2 weeks. Likewise, if you're learning the workshop level, you can re-attend the program absolutely free of charge, as many of the goal mapping practitioners are doing at the moment. You're able to use the office that's built into the online program to run your business, using both your affiliate links to invite people to try goal mapping. We also give each new person that joins upgrade codes that you can use with your clients in whatever way you wish, if you want to use them, or you can resell the codes. And in fact, the value of the codes that we give is more than the cost of the training. So we give you more than £1,500 worth of codes that you can either enrich your coaching or training with by including them if you're a new coach starting out and want to add extra value to your coaching, or you can simply resell them to see a fast return on your investment. You can check all of the people that join through your affiliate link, as you can see here in my affiliate center. And we also now have the marketing center, so you're able to do online marketing and social media marketing. And you can download materials such as our flyers, where you put in your own contact details if you want to share those, logos, etc. And also we have testimonials from corporate, education, and general public. And these are testimonials on goal mapping. So it's absolutely in integrity and authentic that you can use these testimonials to market yourself and say, this is what people are talking about with goal mapping. We even have case studies from people like Microsoft and British Telecom. Again, you can download to show people what's being said about goal mapping. It's an absolutely full money back guarantee if you're not completely happy. Lifetime membership, no renewal fees. I'm just going to make this really clear. You can use the goal mapping platform for free for the rest of your life once you've taken the certification. You've got gold membership for free. You've got use of the coaching center for free. You've got use of the training center and workshop builder for free. and you've got use of the marketing center for free. There is nothing, absolutely nothing extra to pay after certification. So it's a one-off payment for the training, and use the platform for the rest of your life. As some people have wanted to message me on this several times because they're used to paying yearly renewals or even a percentage of the money they earn as a coach. But here, all we're interested in is helping people make a difference. And we look to keep people in the community as a family wherever we can. Like Sid Tuve here, who was looking for a great tool to help her within her executive coaching. And she's saying how great goal mapping has been for her and how good her people find it when she's coaching them. So whichever area where you'd like to work, whether as a coach, small groups as a facilitator, maybe working with education or conference speaking with goal mapping, it's one certification that will allow you to help others in the way that you most want to. All of the children and youth materials included. Emily here from Italy has been so active within the education system in Italy, as has John Alexander here, working with apprentice students in Scotland. Family pack of materials, Sam the Magic Genie training videos with me, all of it included within the program, as are the gold codes, again, included within the program, and also the life mapping certification. And many of the coaches and therapists working with goal mapping will even start their coaching and training with life mapping. And of course, it gives them an extra session they can run with their students, and the choice of either starting with external goals and things that people want to achieve in their life, or internal goals and things that people want to achieve in themselves, such as changing behaviors or raising self-esteem. Risha here, given a great testimonial about working with both goal mapping and also with life mapping. Again, all included in the one certification, just £1,495. The total price would be nearly 4,000. And if you look at comparable programs around the world from other coaching and training centers and schools, they are in fact much, much higher. But we are charging just the one price, £1,495. And depending on where you live, sometimes it is plus tax and sometimes not if you are booking it internationally. And Marion, so you're on tonight, and also saw this earlier from you, so decided to include it here in the presentation, saying that it's one of the best investments you've ever made. Hope you still feel that way, Marion. And Richard, I found this earlier from one of your earlier postings, saying, please go do this. Was a lucky throw of the dice. I'm really pleased both of you, Marion, Richard, and everybody else here certified tonight, chose to share goal mapping together. I feel such a great momentum starting to build. If you're one of the new people viewing goal mapping tonight and you are considering becoming certified, and we've had 3 new coaches join just in the last 10 days, I think it is, and then please feel free to contact either me or Vicky, or indeed any of the other coaches that may have been messaging tonight. I know all of the coaches feel the same about goal mapping. They love to share it. And if you're a new person and you want to hear from one of the other coaches, not just from me, then feel free to contact anyone you saw here this evening. And if it helps you to have a payment plan and to spread the cost so that you can finish your learning and even start earning before making the final payment, then this is for you. We like to make it as easy as possible. I see Vicky's posting in the chat links and information at goalmapping.com/coach if you'd like to read more information about joining the program. You can join at the practitioner level, high end, as Holly just has done from South Africa, or at the facilitator level if you want to learn the workshop, or at the coach level. And each level includes the levels before it. So if you're joining at practitioner level, it includes facilitator and coach, or if you're joining at facilitator level, it includes coach. Or maybe you feel just one-to-one coaching is the right level for you, as many therapists do. You can upgrade to the higher levels if you decide you also want to run workshops and presentations in the future. I do so thank you for joining this evening. If there is anyone wants to ask any questions, please do just drop them in the chat. Just scrolling down through now, taking a quick look through the chat, making sure that I've not missed anyone's questions. Just going to check with my other half. All right. Been absolutely fantastic to see you all joining this evening. I hope you found it interesting and inspiring. If you would like to book a call with me or Vicky, please do so. It would be great to speak with you, find out what it is you do, and to show you how goal mapping can work for you and how you can tailor the program to help the people that you want to make a difference with in life. If you'd like to join our Life Path Masterclasses and be guided through creating a goal map, then please do so. Just go to our events tab and you'll see all of our workshops, including the next Golden Opportunity workshop, where we're going to take a deep dive into principle number 6 and maintaining a positive focus. In the meantime, I wish you all lots of love. Thank you again for joining this evening. Bye for now. All the best. Have a great evening. See you all soon. Take care.